Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wrath, and this is Hellion. Today we're going to be looking at patch version 0.1.7, and this will be a guide for starting up and getting a good start on the game. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and pop out of our stasis pod here, if it will let me get out here. Game is responding kind of slow today, which is a bit of a problem. So as you can see, you start off in this life pod with 2 cryopods, and this is so you can invite a friend to play with you. Right now I don't have anybody invited. So you start off with minimal supplies. So the first thing you want to do as soon as you get out is that you want to take stock of everything that you have. So in this case I've got one medical unit there, one there, so we're going to take that one. We're going to put it over here in this case so that it's not floating around. Close that off. Alright, now things you start off with, that medical kit up there, this, and the 2 suits here are the only things that are guaranteed items. Alright, everything else is a random spawn. There are a few other guaranteed items, such as the ship will have enough resources to be able to FTL for a little bit. Open that helmet up. Because you do start off with a ship. Okay, a couple of units of ammunition, and that's about it. Okay, but everything, all of the parts and stuff that you get are completely randomized. So we've got those 2 there, and holding right click will let you zoom in on stuff. That's garbage right there. You can tell based on like the colors here. See, like this one's in good condition, this one's I'm colorblind, so this one's red or completely blacked out, so it's below 25%. So it's probably junk. And let's see what we've got in this one. A big fat nothing. Awesome. So the next thing we need to do is check our power systems. So we need to get our solar panels online. This should be the first thing that you do, is activate your solar panels for power, and then also turn on your capacitor, which will draw 100 of your output into itself to charge up. And that will help you when you don't have sunlight, because we don't have very good sun coverage right now. So that's going to help us with that. These little things right here give you basically like information on what to do, but we're going to leave those alone for now. And here's what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to do is to get our that's a friend of mine Discord wanting me to join him, but I'm going to go through and look at what we have, because in order to get going in this game you need to be very quick. Now you'll notice that one of the things we didn't do, and I'll go back and show it here real quick because it's important to note and understand, is that there are a couple of other systems that we intentionally did not turn on. Alright, we turned on the power, but we did not turn on the life support. Alright, these are both offline. Pardon me, sorry about that. But we left both of these off, and for a reason. Because while they're on, they're burning the parts, and they're burning through resources. Resources we do not have a lot of. And right now you can see we have plenty of oxygen in the environment, and it's not toxic yet, which is the air quality. So it's not something that we need to worry about right now. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go out of the this space pod, and we are going to gather what is around us, which is a ship and a docking module, and we're going to start sorting through what we have readily available. So first things first, we're going to open this panel here so that once we pull this, it will manually open that door and blast us out into space. You can prevent yourself from being blasted out into space by holding your left shift button and I recommend that you do it. You should also use T to turn on your RCS, and you'll see that we're going to use X to close our helmet, T to turn on our RCS, and you can see down there on the right it says RCS stabilization, and every time I take my finger off the shift key, that disappears. So we're going to hit F to open this door, and now we have vented this one little room, not the whole thing, but just this one little room we have now vented into space so that we can get out. And we're going to manually override the door to force it to close again. And we're going to close this. Okay, so now we're going to hit K, and we're going to target the module. That is the thing that we need to get over here. Alright, so it is over on this side, and you can just barely see it in the darkness. And if you're having trouble seeing, you can always hit V to turn on the lights from your suit, which you'll see as I get closer to this thing are lighting it up. See, there's the light lighting it up. Now this is the bottom of it, so we want to get to the top real quick. And be careful when you're maneuvering in EVA. Less is more. If you're constantly spamming your maneuvers, you're going to go zipping off into space and not be able to make any kind of reasonable maneuvers. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit R because we want to dock the standard docking port, and we want to meet it up with standard docking port B on our station here. And remember, while we're on this, we are still burning the oxygen in our suit, and those basic suits that they give you only have about 30 minutes of air in them. So you have to be very economical with your time. Oh, there's our station. There's our station. You have to be very, very economical with your time, and the hatch that we want is on the right side there. You'll see it as we come around here. So we're going to target that, and we're going to thrust forward, and you can see down on the bottom our directional thrust and our lateral thrust. Now, lateral thrust is how we're moving in orientation to the object here. So you'll see right now we don't have a lot of lateral thrust, but it's actually our lateral movement is going up because how much we're moving in horizontal relation to this is changing based on how we're passing it. But we're going to keep facing the way that we're facing right now, because the worst thing you can do is start spinning around and losing track of your control. So we're going to now break our thrust here. Okay, and we're going to turn this. And again, one of the things you need to remember is that less is more when it comes to RCS and maneuvering. Okay, and shift will kill your rotation, so we're going to hold shift, and now we're going to level ourselves off. And I know we're sliding away, but we're going to hold left to counteract that action, forward to counteract our drift away, and you can see now we're bringing it to a positive number. We're going to counteract the other side slip here, and now we're going to counteract our vertical drop. Alright, so now you can see we're lining up really nice with this. Alright, so we're going to do this. We're going to use Q and E to roll us just a little bit. Now that inner circle, that inner hexagon is the port that we're targeting, and the outer hexagon is our port, which is why the outer one never moves, because from our perspective, our alignment never moves. But we want the two arrows to point roughly towards each other. And so we're going to target this one, and we're going to make for a docking. Alright, and you can, if you're confident, you can do this a little bit faster. Remember that you have to be mindful of your oxygen. Alright, so, and as soon as you're done with this, you're going to want to refill your oxygen from the supplies on your station here. So, well, we're going to get this going real fast, but we're actually going to take a detour because this is sort of a speed run, and we want to do this as quickly and as cleanly as possible. So roll that a little bit, null the roll, Drift right, up, and you'll notice I'm giving it just tiny little boosts. I'm not jamming on it at all because I just want it to very carefully, and bingo, locked on. So now we are docked, so we can get out of this interface and we can shut this. And now one of the things that we're going to do, because this part here is really important and most people don't realize it, we're going to take that. Because that part right there, the resource injector, on the module is almost always 100%. And we're going to hit K again, we're going to find our other ship. And it's right there. Okay, that's our ship. All right, this is what we're going to be using to get around. It's an industrial sort of tugboat, and it's hard to see with the star right in our face there. But as you can see, as we're getting closer here, and we're going to back off the thrust so we don't get hurt when we get in close to this thing. And again, shift is your friend, because when you hold shift, your character will grab on to the edge of the ship to stabilize you, as well as use your RCS to hold you in place. So it'll kill your rotation, and if you're close enough to a surface, your character will reach out and grab it and hold on to it and stabilize you. So it'll hold your position. So that's really important. So now we're draining, and as you can see, we're already down to about 35% oxygen in our tank, and we've only been out here for, you know, maybe 20 minutes at best. Not even. We've been out here for like 10 minutes. So you have less than 30 minutes of oxygen in these tanks. I've never actually checked to be sure, but you have a very limited amount of air. So we're getting in, outer door closed, repressurize. Now, one of the things you want to make sure about is minimizing the amount of resources that you are burning up right now. That's why we didn't turn the life support on the module, because we don't want to waste those resources. The other thing is that you can breathe at a 0.4 or 0.5 atmosphere. So as soon as you can, taking off that helmet can save you the oxygen in your tank while you're waiting for the pressurization to complete. So be mindful of that and make sure that you're using your resources wisely. So as soon as this is done, we're going to tell it to open the inner door. We're going to turn off our RCS, because again, that's more resources that we don't want to burn. And we're going to, you can still maneuver without your RCS, it's just much more sluggish. And we're going to V, turn off the lights, and we're going to drop in, because this is a change of gravity. All right. So now that we're in, we're going to shut this door, and first things first, we need to take stock of our situation. So we're going to take a look at our ship here. We're going to shut that off. The reactors are important, but if, you know, for instance, it's saying that certain parts need to be replaced, that needs to be replaced, that's good, needs to be replaced, could be better. So while that's powering down, we're going to go ahead, and this ship has 2 panels, so we're going to go ahead and turn both of them on and turn on the capacitor. And then something else is drawing power, it's the lights, so we're going to shut those off, alright? Because we want to minimize how much everything is being used. And we're going to go take stock of all of our parts. So first things first, we've got no rifles, which is a sad condition. We've got some ammunition, so we are defenseless currently, and we have no extra suits but a couple of extra jetpacks and helmets. So it looks like our life support system is in good working order, and again we have those. So we're going to go to the life support, and we are going to shut these off, because again, we don't need these on right now, and the longer we can keep these things off, the less resources the system will be using. So we're going to go ahead and drop down. And now this is the lower deck. This is basically the cargo space. And we're going to see, first of all, okay, we have 2 drills, 3 batteries, 4 batteries. Okay, so let's pick these guys up here. We're just going to move these over to here where we can more readily see them. And that there. Come on. Give me the little icon so I know that I've got the right thing targeted. Okay, that's good enough. Alright, because these are all necessary to run these drills. So, alright, not a lot of parts in here. Alright, these are all basic parts. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop this guy right here inside. Alright, because we'll be able to use him later. Always remember to get those resource collectors. Alright, let's check this one. And let's see here. That's only slightly better than the ones that we have up there. One of those looks good. So let's check all these. 45, 60. And then that's the one that we just put away here. 22. Okay, so we'll put that one back. And we'll take the 2 that we have in hand. Alright. Oh, wait. There was an EM field there. So we'll take the EM field unit as well. That one is in really good working order. Okay, so... And we have 2 extra warp cells that are of moderately okay. So let's go ahead and close all of these up. Let's see. You know what? We're gonna put this one that we had. We're gonna put it in our engine because we want to maximize how well that's going to work. And there's a lot of hidden parts on these ships, so you need to spend some time familiarizing yourself after you get going with the parts, especially the parts that are on the exterior, because you will run into other versions of this ship that are in the outside world, and we're going to actually prep these drills right away. So we're going to take this, and you have to click on these things in the environment, so you can't drag them from your inventory. So we're going to take that one, connect it, and then we're going to load a battery. Okay. Alright, now it says it's ready to mine, and we're going to put it up. And if you hold F, it'll take them and put them in your hand. So we're going to say, give me the battery. Come on, you stupid thing. Alright. Load that battery for me. Thank you. Alright, so it says battery, but no cargo container. Load the cargo container. Alright, container is now attached, and we're going to lock these back in their little holding spot, and those are ready to go. And this is our access to our storage, so we're just about ready to go. Let's go ahead and start replacing parts because we want this ship to be in good working order. And this system here is your reactor. It is absolutely critical. Okay, so we don't actually need to replace that. We do need to replace that though. So first things first, we're going to swap to this part here. Alright, so we're going to stick that one in, and we're going to take this one and put it in. Alright, and we don't have a replacement for that, so we're just going to have to leave it. And now we got that one. That one's at 25, and this one's at 89. So we're going to go ahead and slot that one in. That's at 100. That one's slightly lower, but we can live with it. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest of these parts down below. Okay. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time putting everything back. I know it sounds tedious, but you don't want these things floating around when you're not ready to be dealing with them. So we're going to, actually we need one of those. So we're going to start putting these all away. spot here. Alright, and we're gonna put this guy in here as well, in the other spot. Alright, and then this one goes over here, so we'll close that, and we will put this guy over here. Okay, so as you can see, both of those are kind of crap right now. That orangish color basically means it's below, I think, like 30%. So, not the best arrangement. Well, we got 2 drills, which will be very useful for us. And hopefully we've got enough stuff to really make it go with us. So, we got no guns, and that's really frustrating. So we're going to open this up. Now we need to check our warp drive, which is down here. Again, checking everything. Okay, warp cells are good. And open this up. It's important to check this because you need that for FTL. If you don't have that, you're screwed. So we now have everything set. We are ready to go. So, but before we do this, we are going to engage in a little bit of fun activities. So the first things first is that we need to consolidate our equipment. So we're going to take control of the ship. We've got our station targeted. So we're going to slowly, and again, like I said, a little bit with the RCS is far better than just jamming on it and thinking that that's going to do you any favors. So we're going to maneuver towards this till we can get close enough. Let's see, I can't see it all that clearly. Okay, that's where the module is off to the side there. So we're going to aim this way. Alright, because you see that section sticking off there. That's the docking module. So we're going to start doing this here and going to give ourselves a little bit more room. And we're going to keep ourselves pointed at that end there. Kill our rotation. And braking thrust. Braking thrust. Oh, no, too much. See, that's what happens when you're not paying attention. Is that you can end up... Alright. So what we're aiming for is we're going to try to make ourselves have an easier time docking. And when you see that match velocity thing, you can double tap left shift and it will basically bring you to a stop because you're slow enough that your ship can maneuver with them. So we're going to actually pitch ourselves over here and we're going to turn our nose towards that right there, and now we're going to move forward and get ourselves in position for docking. Alright, and when I feel like we're close enough, which is when the marker hits that second ring, that will mean that it is directly on our side and not sort of forward from us. Alright, so we're going to try and zero this out. One of the things, I've actually put a video, or not a video, but a discussion topic out on the forums for this game regarding the lack of good information in these panels. Alright, so we're just about there, so I'm going to go ahead and stop us and match our speed. We're going to drop out of this control here, and we're going to look down here, and you see we've got these 3 controls. Nav, that's going to be for when we actually go somewhere. Docking, that's for what we're trying to do now. Headlights, and then this doesn't actually work, and then you've got FTL to turn on your FTL drive, and engines, which is not actually, the engines don't work right now, so it's not an implemented part of the game yet. So we're going to go to our docking, and as you can see, we're pretty well almost lined up. So we've got that, so we're going to hold T and scroll down with our mouse to target that docking port right to the left of us. And now we're going to just Give her a little bit of left thrust and a little bit of rotation to line it up. And all we have to do now is just slightly turn. See how it's basically giving us an indicator saying this is what you're aiming for. Those are very helpful. So we've got all the time in the world, so we're not gonna worry about rushing this or anything else. And again, a lot of people are going to criticize this guide because they're going to be like, well, you shouldn't discard your docking module there. But I would argue against that, because until you're ready to build a base, you don't actually need this module for the most part. At least not in a functional walk around inside it kind of way. So you don't need to be able to get in and out of it with any real reasonable plan, because more than likely if you die this early, or if you screw this whole process up, you're going to be forced to restart anyway, because you're going to have lost critical supplies that you cannot counter having lost. It's a catastrophic loss at that point. All right, we're going to give this a quick boost in to get us lined up, because if you lose like all of your suits early on, like if you die and you lose your suit here and your other one, well, that's pretty much the end of it. You're done. You have to start over, or start at an arena station. Okay, let's slow that down a little bit, down, and boom, we're docked on. Okay, so now that we're docked, we're going to get out of the seat. But yeah, I mean, so if you screw this up, that's why I'm not worried about losing that docking module, because once we're done with this here, we are going to be doing something that a lot of people don't really realize that they can do. Okay, so we're good here. Go ahead and open the door, and we're going to go into our airlock here. And now this is a funky little transition that appears to give us a bit of problems every now and then, but we're going to try to take care of this. So we're going to open the door. This opens both the exterior door of the airlock and my exterior airlock door, so they basically pair off. And we fall, because we've suddenly hit a gravity field, and the game glitched out. Okay, and now we are in... Oh, close our mask. We are in a hostile environment, and we just basically got ejected into space. That is a bug that we've run into several times. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to work around it. So we're going to turn our RCS on, and we've got a limited amount of air, but the station has still this airlock here. Well, it's not an airlock, but this docking point here that we can use. So we're going to do basically the same procedure as when we went out the first time, only this time we want to make sure that we don't get blown away, because, and we're holding the stabilization again, because if we do, we're going to get blown away from the station with very low oxygen, and we might not make it back in time. So we're going to just target this real quick, hit the override, shut the door, close that panel. Alright, so this has gotten us through to where we need. Shut that panel. Okay, thank you. So we're in a low gravity environment, and again we're going to have to blow some of the air, but this time we're just repressurizing this section manually by forcing it to violently repressurize. Alright, so now we can close this. We can take off our mask. And now, in order so that you don't forget, alright, it's incredibly important that you don't forget this. Take your jetpack off, stick it on this, and immediately refill it. Because you would not believe how many times that can get you killed by forgetting that you need to resupply these packs. So, take it, put it back on, and Actually, let's put it up for some power here, so it'll recharge. All right. So let's look here. What parts do we have that we can take with? Do we have any ammo in here that we can take? 2 magazines. Okay. Don't actually have any rifles at this point, but we'll work around that. We can leave most of these parts where they're at. Let's see how this component is doing. That's all right. All right, let's check the air consistency here. Pressure's not that great, so we're going to go ahead and now that we've got power, we're going to turn this on for a short period of time, and as you can see now it's pumping oxygen and nitrogen in an air mix into this room. So, and you'll be able to see that it's going to be repressurizing the air in here. So, and let's go ahead and turn on the filter for now. So, grab both of these guys. And we're going to just stick these in. Alright, shut off. And we'll turn the filter on as well, because we've significantly decreased the air quality in our ship. So it's now pumping, and we should see this. Yep, see, air quality's going back up. The pressure is equalizing. So now this door is also a pressure hazard because this is the one that we blew out earlier. So again, we're going to hold shift and hopefully not get knocked over. Alright, see, and it was just resetting the atmosphere. So now the automated doors will work. Okay, so we've got still no guns. That's a really crappy deal. Okay, no guns, no ammo. And, ooh, we've got a helmet and a jetpack. So this is the EVA suit, which hopefully they fixed the bugs with it, because previously it wasn't working correctly. But this we want to transfer over to our ship. So we're going to open this door, and we're going to cross over here, and now you should see that we will cross into a zero-G environment, and then we will fall on our face. Oh no, okay. Oof. Rough. Almost had a bad landing there. Gonna open this, set that down, take this one and put it on, because I just realized that we didn't have a tank on, and that was very, very risky of us, since this game can bug out at you at the drop of a hat. So we're going to close, oh, not that door. We want to close the outer door so that we don't drift across that threshold like that, and that we instead get a chance to level ourselves off here. And we're going to open the door, give ourselves a wide berth here, and please do not mess up again. Ugh. Alright. The trick is don't touch anything when you're about to do that, because are we injured? Or okay. One of the ways that you tell that you're injured in this game is that your color vision starts to disappear, and I'm already partially colorblind as it is, so I get really squirrely about that. It's really hard to tell when you're about to die, except for that everything gets gray and your hearing gets wonky and stuff. So we're going to drop that, take that, drop it, open that back up, take the EVA helmet, and set it there. And this one, we'll leave it there for now. It's not really that big of a deal since we don't have a suit to go with it. Okay, close. Gotta remember to do that every time, because crossing this threshold and floating head first into that space and falling down every time is really, really annoying. Now, the fact that it seems to be like determined to make you fall no matter what. Okay, give yourself plenty of. Okay, don't Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Okay, and boom. Okay, stand up. Okay. Ugh. Alright. So, what's actually going on here is that since the lights are off, the system is not, since I've got everything like powered down, the system's not generating a lot of power. I'm going to open this up and stick that right there. So that'll do. And we can actually come back and, okay, we can go put that helmet here. You know what? No, we'll just put this one here. We're going to take off our helmet here. We'll go use that other one. So we'll put that there. And that gives us 2 reliable backups for in case we need them. And I already took the 2 ammo from here. And we're going to take this ore canister as a backup, just in case. Alright, so we're all set. So I'm going to go and, okay, we're going to close this. Let's make sure that both of them are sealed. That's the problem with blowing out some of these things early on, is that, you know, you want to make sure that these are sealed, and if you don't manually force them shut after you force them open, then they can remain open and therefore leave your ship or your pod here vulnerable to being vented to space. So now we're going to go back into the life support here. Let's check our air quality and stuff here. So 94%, that's alright, that's functional. So we're going to go ahead and shut these back down so that we're not burning any more oxygen or nitrogen from our system. Alright, we're going to cross over here, manually force this door closed, and close this. Okay. So now we need to go get our helmet. This is the last set of steps here. So we're going to go ahead and get prepped. This is the last set of steps before we start heading out to gain other resources. So here's that helmet that we dropped that we can now use because we put our other helmet in the capsule. So we're good there, and we got room for if we can find an EVA suit. Now there's 2 other derelicts that spawn near your ship when you do a fresh start. So we're going to do this again, shut that outer door, climb on board, bonk into the door with our head. We're going to fall down anyway, but we're going to do this the fun way. Okay, so now as I said, we're going to be abandoning this module here, this airlock module, so we don't care about it anymore. So please don't fall, please don't fall. Why must you do this to me? Alright, at least I didn't fall through the floor again. That would have been horrible. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open this up. And even though they're red, we're going to take that part and this part too, because again, we've already taken the resource injector, so the RCS on this thing doesn't work anyway. Okay, so we're going to, first things first, we need to close this door because we're about to make this very complicated, because as soon as I do what I'm about to do, we're going to lose all gravity in here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is you always have to disconnect these on both sides. So we're going to release the lever here, because if either side has working docking clamps, then one side will still be hanging on. Going to force the door closed so that we don't space any more raw materials, and buckle up, Nancy. Here we go. So that went off without a hitch. We can open this up here. So now you can see we're drifting away from the station, but we're still in this this docking module that's attached to our ship. And because we separated off the side, we're rotating as well as moving, which can be a little bit hard to manage, but it'll be alright. So now we're attached to our ship. We've got a little bit of gravity. So we're going to do this, close the inner door. we're going to release these docking clamps. This door. Now we're going to get in here. We're going to shut this door again. And we're going to now separate that docking module from ourselves. And again, another quick and violent run. We're going to reset that so that we can dock onto other things later. But now you'll see we've got free and clear. That module is floating away from us, and it is also floating away from the station. So now our next goal is to get ourselves reoriented to go into our ship here. Okay. Alright. Now we dropped in. Okay, so seal our airlock. Yay, happy days. We are good to go. And we're now going to dock this. Okay, that's a problem. Let's check our power. So we've run into a bug now where our radar screen isn't working correctly. That's offline. That's good. Capacitor is charging up slowly. Okay. So we've got enough. Let's see here. That one's online. Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and get this party started here. So we're going to go ahead and attach. And now we're going to go and look for our station. Now the fact that that screen is sort of gone is going to be a problem for us, but not too much of a problem. The little dots around, if you look at your HUD window, you'll see that there's a couple of little shining dots. That's the module. That's not the one we're looking for. So we're looking, it's got to be up and to the right. And there it is. Okay. So that's the one that we're going to go towards. And the sun is blinding us a little bit here. But what we're going to do is this ship comes with a docking system that will allow us to, and we're going to do this real slow like because we want to be able to get that matching effect again. So we're going to try and do this as slow and as easy as possible. So we're getting a little bit close here. Can't see our orientation all that well because of the glare from the sun. But we should be able to slow this down. Okay, and match velocities. We are matched. And now we're going to get out of this seat and we're going to relog because that center console being messed up is a little bit of a weird deal. So we're going to relog. So you'll get to see what server I'm on if you're fast and clever, but this is just the server I'm using for this particular recording. It's not the server that I usually play on. So suck it, Jeeves. You're never gonna get me. Never! Alright, while that is loading up, I'm gonna grab a drink. Alrighty. So, sorry about that. Happened to run out of drink at the time. So now we're just waiting for this to load back up. And you will encounter this regularly. Usually it's not this delayed though. Here we go. So again, we've got that all set. And now our center console works again. So we're going to target our station here. And now we're going to switch into our docking mode. Actually, let's see. Alright, the docking port we want is over there. It's on the far side. So we're going to actually manually guide the ship into position. And you can do this just by paying attention to your orientation and watching your screen that tells you the positions. Because again, the center ring is your peripheral vision. The outer ring is directly side on to you, and the third ring is things that are behind you in that orientation. So if we just push forward a little bit, and then we're going to just kind of peek down the window here and watch as we drift by. And as soon as we can't see it anymore, okay, we're going to take back control. And we're going to reduce our thrust, match velocity again. And now, again, we're going to shift out of control. We're going to switch to our docking camera. But this time we're going to hit R so that we are using our rear-facing engine. So we're going to push this down, which you see will pitch the ship actually forward, the front of the ship up, because we want to target the ship behind us. Okay, and now we've overshot. So think of this as being backwards. So basically we're just turning the tail around so that we can try and find the station. We're relatively stationary because we matched speed with them. Again, use shift to control your ship. We're going to thrust down. And we're having a lag issue again. So we're going to wait for that sort of lag storm to pass. We've got another lag spike, so we're gonna stop and wait. And again, this is an alpha game, and I'm not sure if it's liking my rig or not, or if something's going on there. But we do the best we can with what we've got. Okay. There's our station. For some reason, we've drifted away from it. Thought for sure we had that matched up, so. Either way, we're just going to thrust back. Now you got to be mindful of this. In the bottom left-hand corner there, you see that I've only got about 37% RCS gas left, which is to say nitrogen. So, but we can see the glow on the right-hand side that tells us where the docking port that we're looking for is. that's fine. Everything is looking good. And remember, you want to be targeting the standard docking port A, and you want to be set on port 1, or what normally shows up as your grappling claw. Because that's the tail end of your ship. It's basically like a towing function that allows this ship to tow other modules. So we're just gonna, and we need to right ourselves because we're upside down, at least in comparison to the module that we're trying to dock with. Okay, and roll it a little bit more, and oh, too much. Alright, good to go. Oh no, we're like way top heavy here. Alright, so we're going to now keep turning ourselves towards that docking port, because as you can see we're drifting, and let's roll ourselves over again. Okay, so now we get a better idea of what kind of controls we have to do in order to gain our alignment here. And so you'll see we are drifting ever so close. Alright, we're going to boost to the left, re-angle up. Alright, because we want to kill off this movement to the left and bring it back to the right. We want to re-angle our coming down. Alright, so now we're going to have to do a quick burst of braking. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. And now we're almost completely zeroed out on our rotation, our lateral movement. And had a bit of a lag spike there. Alright, and we're drifting slowly away from it. So we're going to correct that and give ourselves a little forward thrust. And so we're almost perfectly lined up here. So now I can give it a little more juice to get us going in. Okay, so we're pretty much good on the docking alignment. Now, one of the things you should be aware of is that when you're docked onto to another module like this, even with the grappling claw, you have access to the resources stored within anything but the active systems of that module. So in this case, it allows me to access anything that's in storage on the let's go down a little bit, thank you. It allows me to access anything that is on storage for the lifeboat that we started on. We will be able to access that as we proceed. So now we're gotta hope that open panel doesn't screw with us. Nope, okay. Locked in. So now that we're docked, we now have that in. Ooh, that derelict is actually really close. So that's our next step. Is that the derelicts are, there's 2 derelicts that spawn whenever you spawn your start, and they have necessary additional supplies that you want to make use of. Now, because we're attached to those, we now have the output of all 3 of the solar panels. Now, we're not in the best place to use them, but even so, we've got enough, and we're close enough to that derelict that we're going to go ahead and go for that right away. Normally I would have saved that for another video, but we're going to go ahead and do it now because it's only at 1 kilometer. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, and there. Alright, with that being that close, we're going to go ahead and thrust towards that, because at 1 kilometer, that's almost close enough that we could get to it with our EVA suit, but we would not have much for the return trip, depending on how economic we were with our, or how aggressive we were with our RCS. Because you'd have to get going at a pretty good clip to get over there in time with the limited air that you get in these suits. I think it only gives you, I think the primary suit only gives you like 15 minutes of air. I haven't really measured it out, but it's, I mean, you see, you run out of air really fast. So you'll notice that I'm going really, really slow. And that's because with these other objects, they're far enough away that if you just point straight at them and thrust towards them, you're going to throw yourself off of their orbit, and it's going to make trying to catch them and line up with them extremely difficult. Whereas if I give it just a little bit for a slow approach, then I can try to slowly adjust the course as we approach over time and not waste a huge amount of resources trying to catch these modules, these ruined modules in space. So we're gonna keep moving on this one, and hopefully when we get close enough, we'll be able. Okay, so we're shooting a little bit to the side now, and like I said, it's all about your skill with the approach. Okay, so we're at 380. We're getting real close, but as you can see, it's not that big. So you got to be really careful. And really, when it comes down to it, you want to get as close as possible within the limits of your ability. So that's another major thing to point out to people, is that don't try to do these super close precision maneuvers if you're not comfortable with them. Because, you know, for me, I'm fairly good at maneuvering these vessels. I've had practice, I've had time, and I know most of the concepts of orbital mechanics, so that I can figure out how to maneuver my ship in relation to another, because what you're doing is you're trying to hit a moving object with another moving object. It's the best example I've heard of is trying to hit a bullet with another bullet while both of them are in flight. So you can understand why, if you just start burning and firing your engines wherever you want, you're going to throw yourself out of control very, very quickly. Somebody once told me that flying a ship in space is like flying a very complicated calculator. And that's not horribly inaccurate. Alright, let's try to zero out our... Okay, so we're going to be able to get a good... So we're going to get just a little bit closer, because I don't want to waste a lot of time having to go back and forth. So we're going to wait till we get almost to suicidal distance here, and then double tap, and we are matched. So we are in position. So now it's time to go and explore that wreck and get some parts. So we've already got some parts in hand, so we're going to clear our inventory. You always want to make sure that you've got maximum space for bringing back any potential loot, because you never know what space you're going to need. So open this up, and I think both of these go in here. Yeah, okay, so Stick that guy there. That guy there. Alright, all done. I have anything else in my inventory? I have 2 magazines and everything's full there, so we are good. Oh wait, I've got an ore can on me, so we'll take that off too. Alright, just so that I have it locked down, because I don't trust anything that's laying down, because in some of the earlier versions, parts would just float through the floor, and then you'd lose, you know, things like extra drills and stuff would just, you know, bugger off and disappear, and you'd be like, well, there goes some more equipment. So I like having everything locked down in their little space here. So we're gonna put the ammo here, because the derelict itself might have some ammo, so we want to recover as much as we can, especially if it's got any guns, because that our decided lack of self-defense is absolutely terrifying, because there are people on this server who will who have declared that they are going the road of piracy. Which is they will come and raid your ship and take whatever they can, resources and whatnot, so that they can keep themselves going. So, alright, so we're going to shut this, and again, everything's about timing, so at about half pressure, we're going to go ahead and close our mask so that we're able to save as much of the oxygen in our system as possible before we go out, because, you know, I mean, even at half atmosphere, you've still got almost a minute of time that's going to pass while you're in this tin can waiting for it to finish depressurizing, because you don't want to open the door before it's finished depressurizing, because that's going to make your ship move, and then once your ship's in motion, it's hard to stop. So now that it's depressurized, we're going to go ahead and go out. Alright, and there is our target. We'll turn our RCS on so that we have some control here. And again, I'm really terrible with the RCS in these packs. It's just terrible. I cannot, like, I spaz out too much because it's much more twitchy than a ship. So it's harder for me to control it. So I end up getting flowing all over the place. It absolutely drives me bonkers. But we're scoping around the inside of this thing because we want any sweet, sweet loot that might be inside. So, and we're going to stabilize ourselves, pitch around and see what we can see here. Nothing there. Okay, looks like there's some lockers over here. Let's turn on our lights. Alright. So let's go looking over here. Alright, we've got weapons. So we're going to have to make 2 trips as it is because... Oh, there's a hacking tool too. So we're going to take that. Take that additional piece of ammunition. We're going to take one of these rifles, because we've got a space for, we've got a rifle space. And nothing in there. Nothing in that drawer. Nothing in that drawer. Oops, some parts. Always good. Parts are always good. Alright, so we'll take that. Servo motor, it looks like. And it looks like a jetpack. So we're going to take this jetpack. Is that another part I see floating there? No. Okay. Actually, the jetpack is not as valuable to me right now. You would think it wouldn't be, but the rifle is more important right now because only having the one rifle means that if I lose it, I have no backup. So we're going to take the second rifle. Oh, we're going to be able to grab all 3, so that's perfect. So you've got 2 basic like spots that you can attach something to you, and I've apparently attached a rifle on each side. So now we're going to be able to maneuver our way out of here and get going. So now there's one other derelict around here, but we're going to save that for a little bit later. And as you can see, we're towing our station around behind us as a sort of caboose or RV trailer, which I think is absolutely awesome. And now, one of the reasons that that's really useful is because when you get down to mining, a lot of people will tell you that mining is not worth the time, purely because of the fact that when you're doing mining, the rate of return is very slow, especially since some of the mining equipment is bugged out right now, where you can't swap mining cans on the fly, which can be frustrating. However, the opposite side of that is that while you are engaging in dealing with that, you need to, as long as you're making sure that you're not wasting resources, you can still make a good go of it. Oh yeah, the actual point. The reason that mining is actually really important, and we're going to cover that in another video. We can take the mask off here. The reason that the mining is really important is because of the capacities of your ships. So yeah, so we don't have, it's not really a space for that, but we'll toss it there. If it falls through the floor, so be it. But let's put up our rifles here. And then rifle number 2. So we now have 2 rifles. So I feel a little bit safer. And we have almost a full half of the potential ammo. And we got one really good servo motor. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to raid the derelict that we saw on our sensors, because that will have other stuff in it. The other thing is that a lot of people don't have the skill to actually catch their derelicts. So what ends up is that people tend to abandon them. Boy, that's a lot of bad motors there. Those are all, that one's terrible. Those 2 are bad. So we're going to have to replace those at some point. But let's go ahead, because hopefully, if we have any luck, and we're going to go ahead and pick this up, and we're going to take that off and start charging this thing. Okay, so, and here's where it comes in. See, this is the cargo bay for the other ship, and it has all of these resources right here. So we're going to take about half of those and move them over here for us. And now we'll just use those to, oops, switch to slot 1, which is our jetpack. We're just going to use that to recharge our supply. So, good to go. Take this, and we're just going to stick it right on here to recharge it. And while that's going, we'll just go upstairs and grab the other one that we just grabbed. Simple musical chairs kind of deal. Plus, it leaves that one that's downstairs locked into something, so it's not going to move, which is always good. Can never have too much of that. So let's go ahead and lock in to our last target here, which is at 1.9 kilometers. So moving in towards this one actually saved us part of the trip to that one. And it is over this way. So we're rotating around. Please don't be facing the star. I really don't like trying to travel into the star. Okay. It's right in front of us, just slightly down. Oh, had to be right towards the star, didn't it? That's going to make maneuvering such a beast in the butt. Alright, so now we are moving away. And we're going to close on this other unit. Now, that central arrow is, as far as I can tell, it's supposed to help you align your flight path to intersect with the flight path of the actual object that you're targeting. However, it is such a terrible design that it is almost useless. So we're going to go ahead and try to play this by ear as we approach. So, okay, we're going to need to get a little bit further up. And now a little bit to the left. See, I'm watching my ship's the numbers on the bottom and the right, even though they're not labeled. One of them is your lateral motion, one of them is your the two motions that were showing up on the other docking screen. These two numbers correlate to them, but they don't really say which one's which. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So we're going to slow this down. And again, it's really, really difficult to see because of the nature of this whole process. And I think we're killing our lateral motion now. Alright, and we're getting a lag spike for it loading in. Okay, so now we're drifting slightly away from it. That's okay. What we want, and I can't see this thing for the life of me. Oh. Okay. This thing is really difficult to spot. Hopefully we'll be able to swing around the other side of it and get the sun at our back, which would be really nice. Or at least get it off of our visual, because that makes vision really difficult. Okay. And again, we're going for that up-close approach so that we can give the ship a... Oh, no. Drifting away again. And you'll notice that there's two little, like, bracket-looking things inside the reticle there that move inside and outside of the reticle. Those are actually indicating what's called your retrograde, your prograde, or your retrograde. Ugh, now we can see. Oh my god, that was horrible. Alright, and what those do is that those show you whether or not you're moving towards something or away from it, or if you're on your direction of movement or not. Are you accelerating or are you decelerating? But the thing that people don't realize is that retrograde and prograde are in reference to your orbit, not the object you are tracking. But this game seems to treat them as both, which is a little bit weird to say the least. Okay, we are at 50. Let's see if we can get to 40. Zero that out. Okay, let's match that there. All right. So once more into our airlock to go and search for buried treasure. Now we have on us a hacking tool, which I would like to put up here, but I don't see a way to actually do it. See, it just ends up on the floor, but those are so rare. I'm gonna keep it on me for now, just because I don't know any other way to deal with that. So here we are, and now we are ready to begin. So again, close the door, depressurize, and okay, yeah, we got a fresh tank here. So again, we're watching for this to reach about halfway before we shut our vents, because preserving air. And it helps because the game colors everything. See, it goes from white to yellow to red, letting you know that, hey, you should probably put that frickin' mask on. So, basic concept, when the light is red, you're dead. Alright, turn the RCS on. And let's go explore this thing. And God, I hope, if there's an EVA suit in here, I'm going to be so stinking happy. As long as it's not bugged still. But we'll find that out together. Because it was bugged in the last build. We're going to ease off here a little bit. And stop. Okay. Perfect landing. Alright, so let's turn our light on. And we want to look for any little parts that might be floating around. Doesn't look like there's anything. Ooh, wait, there we go. There's some ammo. That's for a different weapon than the one I have. Oh, yes, that's a military railgun sniper rifle. Which, that doesn't sound like too bad of a deal. Again, no guns, but another hacking tool. So we'll take that. Ooh, nice part. That's another one of those field generators for the ship, for the warp core, or not the warp core, the reactor core. And EVA suit, perfect. Okay. So you're not always guaranteed to get one of these. So, you know, when you see an opportunity that allows you to get one, do not pass that stuff up, because that is a godsend. And the reason is that, again, assuming that the suit is not bugged, then you have these suits, the jetpacks for these suits have almost 4 or 5 times the air capacity of the standard suits. They have a few drawbacks of their own that make them not the perfect go-to, but when you're going to be doing something that you know is going to require you to be out in space for a long period of time and not just transitioning from one environment to another, these things are just what the doctor ordered. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn around and let this go, because we can't interact with that panel until we do. So, repressurize. Alright, so now we're going to hang on to this. We're going to turn off our RCS, since we don't need that anymore. Oh, yeah, getting one of these suits is fabulous. Excited. Can wait for the clunk. Okay. Down we go. Okay. And Rockstar landing. Let's put this thing in its spot. Okay, so that's it. The big drawback with these suits, number one, is that the helmet does not open. So if you want to stop using the oxygen from the suit, you have to take the helmet off. So, bit of a downside, but the plus side is the extended in-space time. The other downside for those suits is that they do not have very many spaces for ammo. So you will consume a lot of if you're going into a combat situation, you generally, unless it's a 0G open space combat situation, you're generally better served, if you're like raiding a station or something, you're better served with one of the other suits that has a less O2, but you're not going to be fighting in space with it. You're going to be using it to transition from one environment to another. So in those cases, that would be the better choice. But when it comes to having to go for a foray into the great unknown, and we're going to take everything off this suit because I do not want. Let's go ahead and open this up here and see if I can put my hacking tool in there. I cannot. I instead picked up ammunition. Alright, so we're going to toss all of this stuff away. Put that one over there. Gonna drop that one as well. So we got two hacking tools on the floor. Drop that can. I thought I had put that somewhere else, but we're not going to be able to use this or this, so we're going to drop both of those. And now up here we're going to remove our suit, and we're going to store that happily there. So let's drop you right there. Let's see if we can get the helmet right next to it. There we go. Alright. So now it's time to see if these things are bugged still. So hold on to your shorts, folks. Alright. Does not appear to be killing us. Put the pack on. And we'll leave the helmet there. Reason being that well, actually, let's see if we can put that. So I want to know if you can. No, you can't. Okay. So basically, you have to carry the helmet around, or you have to put it up. One of the two. But like I said, it's really good if you're going to be transitioning from one environment to another. But in general, you don't want to be wearing this thing as your normal standard. So, stick with these suits unless you're doing something specifically that you need more EVA. Alright, but that's a good suit to have. So we're super happy that we got that, but you know, we're not going to put it on just yet because that's going to be saved for something like mining when you need to be out for long periods of time. Alright, so that has got us pretty well squared away. So the last thing we're going to talk about is what's going to be in the next video. So we've gone ahead and done the starting out. We've raided everything that we started with or that spawned because we did a fresh start. We've raided all of that, and now it's time to move on from our starting area and explore what's around us. We have a couple of different options for what we want to do. We can either go looking for other stuff to raid, or we can go out and mine raw resources to help us out. Now, our distinct lack of batteries means that it's going to be difficult to keep these things going for any really long amount of time. And that's going to considerably hamper our ability to do mining, or at least slow us down. So I think what we'll do is we'll look for another module to raid real quick, and then we'll do some mining. Or we can just do some mining. If we do some mining, I will go ahead and do that in the next video, and I'm going to cut a lot of it out simply because it takes for frickin' ever. So until next time, I'm Wrath. I hope that you've enjoyed this guide. This should give you a good idea of how to get yourself ready to go. And for those of you who are staring at your screen and saying, well, why did he throw that other module away? Why couldn't he have taken it with him? The answer is that your ship can only tow, by design of the game, this ship can only tow one module behind it and be able to maneuver and warp. Now, some people have found a way, an exploit, that will get patched out of the game at some point that allows them to maneuver multiple objects or to warp with multiple objects. However, that is not how the game is designed to work, and therefore don't expect that to be a standard thing. So until next time, I'm Wrath. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Go ahead and subscribe for me because I really enjoy having more people to watch my videos and enjoy the content I create. And if you like the video, please leave a like or a comment and let me know how I'm doing. It just makes me have a better understanding of what material is being enjoyed. So until next time, I'm Wrath. Have a good one.